Life in desert. A desert may be broadly described as a region which receives less than 25 centimeters of rainfall in an year. Desert regions may be hot or cold, sandy or rocky, but they do have one thing in common: dryness. They are very sparsely populated and devoid of vegetation owing to this reason. Thus, food and water, which are essential for life, are hard to find in deserts. Means of livelihood are limited and economic development is very slow. In spite of all these difficulties, people live in deserts. Sahara, a hot desert. Sahara is the biggest tropical desert in the world. It is located in North Africa and extends right across the continent from Atlantic Ocean in the west to Red Sea in the east. It cuts across many African countries such as Algeria, Egypt, Libya, Sudan, Mali, Niger, Chad, and other North African countries. The Sahara was not always arid like its present form. Before the continents shifted away from one another, it was attached to the continent of Antarctica, and it also had water streams and beautiful plants. Land and climate. Sahara is not absolutely a sandy desert. Only 1/4 of Sahara is sandy. The rest of the surface is covered with high mountains, plateaus, and plains. People think of this large desert as a huge stretch of shifting sand dunes, but a large part of it is rocky. Depressions formed by the action of wind are also found, and some of them contain oases. The rivers Nile and Niger flow along the borders of the desert region. Lake Chad is the only freshwater lake in this region. The climate of Sahara is very extreme type and is hot and dry. In summer, the temperature can shoot up to 55 degrees Celsius, while the winter temperature goes down to freezing point. Rainfall is almost non-existent, less than 25 centimeters, and humidity is very low. The northern part of the desert receives some precipitation in winters, while the southern part receives some rainfall in summer. The winds are dry and scorching, and there is no cloud cover. This makes life difficult for the people living there. Natural vegetation. The vegetation of Sahara consists mainly of the scattered patches of grass and shrubs. Since water is scarce, the plants have developed the ability to conserve water content. They have long, deep roots, waxy and short needle-like leaves, and thorny surfaces. The cactus, the babool, and thorny bushes are the only vegetation of this region. The oases found in some places of the desert have clusters of date palm trees. The Sahara is rich in minerals. Iron ore and manganese are found in the northern part of desert. The chief fuel resources, namely coal, petroleum, and natural gas, are also found mainly in north. Oil is drilled out in countries like Libya, Algeria, and Egypt. The minerals have enabled these countries to get over the problem of lack of water supplies by establishing desalination plants for converting seawater into fresh drinking water. People lead a difficult life and have to adapt themselves to the harsh climatic conditions. Being sparsely populated, scattered clusters of human settlements are found in places like oases. The houses are built close together for shade and are designed to keep out the heat and sand. The Tuaregs and the Bedouins are the important nomadic tribes that move from place to place along with their herds of camel, sheep, and goat. The animals provide them with milk, meat, and skin, besides serving them as means of transportation. The camel is the most suitable animal and is called the ship of the desert, as it can survive without food and water for long durations. They move in big caravans, looking for new pastures for their animals. Nomadic people live here in temporary tents. Settled cultivation is practiced in the oases, where sufficient water is available. Wheat, barley, maize, millets, and beans are the main food crops. Date palm tree is highly valued, as dates are eaten and its trunk provides timber. Its leaves are used for weaving baskets and thatching roofs and as fodder. The sap of tree is used as beverage. Cotton and sugarcane, grown mainly in Nile Valley, are important commercial crops. Other occupations include trading, handicrafts, and mining. Trade centers have been developed around the oasis. The nomads bring milk, meat, leather, and wood to the oasis towns to exchange for dates and other agro products. Now, tractors, automobiles, and airplanes are taking the place of the camel, and camel herders are declining. Scenic beauty of the deserts attracts tourists to Sahara. So, tourism is an important industry in this part of the world. Ladakh, a cold desert. Situated in the northern state of Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh is located at the eastern part of the state. Land and climate. The landscape of Ladakh is highly mountainous, with two main mountain ranges. One is the Ladakh Range and the other is the Karakoram Range, which is the higher of the two. Mount Godwin Austen, K2, is the highest mountain peak located on Karakoram. It is the world's second highest peak after Mount Everest. The Ladakh Range has an average height of 6,000 meters above mean sea level. The landscape is dominated by high-altitude plains and deep valleys. Because of its barrenness, Ladakh is often referred to as the Moonland or Broken Moon. The region is drained by River Indus and several of its tributaries, like Zaska and the Shyok. There are many large glaciers, particularly in Karakoram Range. The climate of Ladakh is of the extreme type. Winters are dry and severely cold. Summer days are warm and nights are cool. Since Ladakh lies to the north of the Great Himalayan Ranges, it comes under the rain shadow area of southwest monsoons. Thus, monsoons are not able to give it much rain in the summer season. In winters, due to dry winds, some snow falls in this region. Thus, Ladakh can be regarded as a cold desert. Natural vegetation. The vegetation of Ladakh is sparse. Due to the harsh climate, between May and September, there is increase in temperature. During this time, agriculture is practiced. Wheat, barley and vegetables are grown. People also grow fruits such as apples, grapes and apricots. On the slopes of the mountains, there are alpine pastures where sheep, goats and some other animals are reared. Yak is the beast of the burden and also provides milk and wool to the people. Pashmina wool, which is very expensive, is obtained from a special kind of goat. Ladakh produces excellent Kashmiri shawls, blankets and carpets. During cold winter season, there is no work on the farms. Thus, the farmers carry on weaving operations at home. People in this part of the world are strong and very hardworking. They are mainly Tibetan Buddhists. Ladakh has a number of Buddhist monasteries known as Gompas. The people of western Ladakh are mainly Muslims who speak Balti language. Ladakh does not have many minerals except sulfur and borax. Because of the harsh climate, the rugged terrain, and the dearth of natural resources, large-scale industries have not developed in Ladakh. Woolen cloth is the most important manufactured product. Leh is the only important town of this region, which is the commercial and administrative town. It is linked with Srinagar by a motorable highway. Buses ply between Leh and Srinagar in summers only, as the highway linking both the towns gets blocked by snowfall in winters. Kargil is another town of this region. Leh and Kargil are also connected by air. Leh also has an airport. The road connecting Leh to Manali in Himachal Pradesh is one of the highest in the world. Tourism is another important industry in Ladakh, as the scenic beauty of the place attracts the tourists. The government is making efforts to make the region accessible to foreign and domestic tourists.